Hey Gemini, this is your November Scorpio season reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. Calendar shall be updated. And all extended readings will be in the first link below on Patreon. Give it about the same day it comes, this initial video comes out, and the following day for it to be up and available. You can find it all there if you want more into the season, then we get into a little bit into Sagittarius season as well. All right, this month for you. So for some of you, it's already begun, and there's a part of you that may feel like you can't be pulled into the season if you just keep moving, if you just keep going. You're like, no, I don't have to get pulled into this. But that's really not necessarily true. I'd be very careful about doing that, because it looks like you may just need to let go of something that's on your plate, make yourself more availability and more available and more flexible, right? You don't have to be necessarily held down this month, but to be able to process will definitely be something that will be brought to your attention. Processing you don't necessarily have to slow down your entire life, but from the Knight of Swords to the Hangman is still a different pace, right? You just want to go, go, go. You may be like charging forward. You don't really want to Scorpio season, I don't feel like feeling things. But like every air sign, we don't really get a choice when we want to feel things, right? And there's so much in Scorpio right now that I think for some of you are like, I just want to move on from this. And if you don't get what you're experiencing, this is what you're experiencing, you know? Like, this season kind of made it very clear that what's very important is to recognize what you have right now, what's available to you now, what is possible for you now. Because once things start to move into Sagittarius, you'll not only have more space and more room to grow and expand, you'll also have enough room where you can even work on things as you grow and expand. It's not just this external push with just a little bit of the internal that can happen in Libra season, and then that super internal space where it happens now in Scorpio season. It's this kind of it's this process in which this season brings you to a pace that you're not just out here. And if you do feel like you're just like moving and things are going along and you don't find that you have any time for yourself, or you have too much time to yourself, and then every time that happens, or you don't let yourself rest in that space and you just feel like you have to go, go, go. I think for some of you, it could be one or the other, or a combination of the two within this month. So you need to, in order to find that space that this Hangman is asking for, it's like you don't have to slow down completely. You don't have to come to a complete stop. The Hangman is just saying, like, give yourself, like, carve out time in your day where you get like 5 minutes. You know, this is just a little too bright for me. This might just flicker a little. Where you may just have a few moments of, okay, I can absorb what it is I need to absorb, and I can continue to move forward without any obstacles in my mind. So you may need to let go of something. You may need to say, okay, I have this many obligations, or I've committed to this, or I want to do all this. What is actually possible for you right now? Because for some of you, you are running from something, from feeling. But Virgo season tried to get you to go through, and it would have been easier. Like, I've told quite a few signs, I don't know if I told you, but during Virgo season, I was like, you're better off feeling it more now than to go through Libra season feeling kind of okay, and then getting into Scorpio season and really having to feel it. I have to tell you that for air signs, we don't really get, always the choice, but I understand. And it's not always an easy place to be. The good news is that when you do feel it and you go through it, you have time to actually make decisions instead of rushing to make decisions just because you don't have enough room, or you don't have the option, or you don't have the choice. So as long as you do, and when you do have the choice, I think it's very, very important to give yourself the opportunity to have that choice. What does that mean? To actually go through and decide what's important for you, what's not important for you, and what feels like you feel fortunate in these ways, but where you want to grow in other ways. So that's what then those Sagittarius placements will do for you. They'll give you this opportunity to say, okay, I'm really ready to navigate why maybe sometimes my emotions stop me from moving forward, even though I'm moving and I'm doing things. And for those of you who have already begun to really learn this, you are experiencing this time in your life where you get to have this awareness where you're like, oh, I see myself maybe moving a little too fast. Let me take a step back. Let me take a moment, because there are some real decisions to make this month or going into the next month. And it's not that you don't want to, not that there's a right or wrong choice to make, Gemini. It's more just like, how can you become a little more level-headed? Who in your life, maybe there's a Virgo or a Sagittarius in your life that helps you understand or helps you get to that place of this makes more sense for me. This, I understand. If there is your uncontrolled circumstances like your job or the expectations that other people have on you, maybe you're a parent, I know it can be a lot harder, but even if it's just the ride to work, or as you get up in the morning, you play soft music, or you get yourself in some kind of zone for healing. Maybe it's the few minutes before you go to bed, or the few minutes you have in between one thing to the next. That maybe you don't play anything or don't listen to anything, really. You let yourself kind of just go through. And I feel like every air sign is needing this to an extent this month. You go through this quietness, this softness, this ease. You'll find a greater energy towards not only just your goals, but what you're passionate about, if you can find some space in between each and everything that you do, or each and every role that you play, or if those go hand in hand, of course. I was also going to light some of this. I'm going to do it. We're just going to do this for you and for everyone out there who needs a little bit. This reading also starts with communication of the self and your body also. And I forget to connect this sometimes, maybe because I haven't been thinking in that way, but I was just like thinking about Mars and Scorpio, right? And Mercury and Scorpio. Water signs and earth signs are more feminine, so I really think about the body in those ways. So this, from Virgo season to now, we're in the next feminine season, then we'll be in a masculine season in the fire, and then air is also masculine. So you're being brought into your body, and your body is it may also be that you don't want to be with your body because it's going through something and it's almost too painful to look at. It's that moment where you're just like, if you're ever wishing you were in, if you had a different body, or if it was just a little different, then things would feel better. But the acknowledgement and the love and the attention that you give to yourself right now is probably the most transformative thing that you can go through, especially this month, because it's really going to drive the catalyst of this wheel of fortune. Once you let go of whatever value that is being held on physically, right? Maybe something comes up when you actually tune into your body, and it comes up so clearly that you realize if you just let this go, you never know what could lie ahead and how this wheel can keep turning on its own, and how then you get and receive by working diligently and having that focus on the connection between your physical, your mental, and your spiritual, which is your emotional, right? That connection to it all. that you have so much more pure focus and intent on what you're building, instead of it coming from maybe a fear-based place, or I have to, because, in Libra season, sometimes we want to impress. Sometimes we want to be like, this is impressive. How do I initiate something in order to feel accomplished, or like I'm doing something, or I'm showing something? And what I think Libras have begun to learn is that it's only impressive to the self first and to the people that you really care about. So Scorpio season takes that with many other things that Scorpio season does. But Scorpio season takes that and gets really right down to the nitty gritty of like, you don't really need this. This might be your ego, because Scorpio season will show you where your ego is and where whatever has power over you is in your life. It's through the ego, Mars. It's through sexuality. It's through your impulses. It's through your nature to feel powerful, to feel in control, to feel like you have something to give, but you also have expectations to receive. And so this will alchemize during the change between Scorpio to Sagittarius in the many different areas. But from the 7 to the 8 of Pentacles at the end, it's only going to be through you and through how you decide and how you allow yourself to process through the course of this month. And that power will be available to you in the ways in which you need and what's important to actually help what it is that you need help with. And that's this connection between your emotions, your mind, your spirit, because it looks like you're looking for faith. You're looking for something to give you faith or inspiration at this time. And so cliche as it is, but we all need to hear it, is that you can really only get that from yourself, first and foremost. You can get it from other places. Something will touch you. You'll read something that makes sense for you. But your subconscious has been looking for it. So it's you all along, Gemini. I know only a few cards, but I think that's for the best this month. We'll get right into the second part, where we talk about why it's important for you especially to allow the heaviness that this month can bring to bring you back to yourself in a way that's healthy, in a way that's very clear, and also somewhat abrupt for some of you, but it's important. We'll get right into it, and I'll see you next month.